1 minute. अरेहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तीन को स्वरूप जानी राग ते भई जो भक्ति काय को नमाए स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम्ही से काज सब आज भयो कर चोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। Just give me 1 minute. Yes. So today, today is our 11th class, and we'll be studying the last chapter on Balbo 3, substance, attributes, and modification. It is the 6th chapter. Rest we have completed, and then we'll break for 2 weeks, and we'll be starting from Vitrag Vigyan 1, which is our actual syllabus. So all these are not part of the syllabus, but since we are early, so we thought of covering this Balbodh 1, 2, and 3. Very simple chapters, but the most important one is what we are going to study today, substance, attributes, and modification. It's page number 20, lesson number 6. Karan, you would read?
I'll share the screen.
Yeah, you can share on the screen. And
yeah, you'll have to make me the host.
Some portion of it, and then I will explain. And then again, you will read the balance portion. So, you have the book with you?
So you'll have to make me co-host.
Oh, sorry. I forgot to make you co-host. Yes.
Can I read? Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra. Yeah, you read.
Okay. Thank you. Substances, attributes, and modifications. Student. Sir, I have learned from newspapers that a few bombs of such intensity have been manufactured as would entail the destruction of the whole world if war breaks out. Teacher, can the world ever be destroyed? World is a mass of the six substances, and these substances never perish. They only change their manifestations. Student, the world is a mass of substances. What what is a substance? Teacher, substance is a mass of attributes. Student, in the discourse on Moksha Shastra in temple, it was said that a substance contains of attributes and modifications. Teacher, that is right. That is all right. The changes that take place every moment in the attributes are called modifications. As such, when we define a substance as a mass of attributes, modifications are included therein.
Stop. Yeah, stop here. So first
Okay.
we'll see the definition of substance. The other day I taught you about 6 substances. So you already know what is a substance is. But we begin from the definition, what is world or what is universe. So universe or the world is a mass of 6 substance. Okay. So uh, the next question comes to our mind is then what is a substance? So substance is a mass of attributes. Okay. So substance is a mass of attributes. Substance is also a mass of attributes and its modification. Okay. So in Moksha Shastra, it was said that substance contains of attributes and modification. So we can say that substance is a mass of attributes and modification. So when we want to know anything about a substance, we need to know its attributes or qualities and then the modification of such qualities. So in this way, we can have the correct knowledge about that substance. Substance have different names also. It is also called, uh, 1 minute. Mm, yeah, it is also called thing or vastu. Then it is also called element or tattva. It is also called existence, sat or satta. It is also called earth. It is also called padarth, and it is also called anvay. So these are the different names for the substance or dravya. Okay. You already know that there are 6 kinds of substances: living beings, matter, Jeev, Pudgal. Then we have medium of motion and medium of rest, Dharmastikai, Adharmastikai. Then we have space, which is Akash, and then we have time called Kal. So these are the 6 substances. And what is this world? So world is a mass of substances. So they are 6 in numbers, but each substance, again, each category is of different quantities. It can be infinite, like living beings are infinite. Matter is infinite into infinite. Then medium of motion, medium of rest, and space are 1 in quantity, and time is again uncountable. So these are different quantities of each substances, but the world as a whole is a mass of these 6 substance. And now coming on to the substance, substance is again a mass of attributes and modification. Now this is what we have read so far. Now moving ahead further, uh, the next page. Yeah.
Can I read, sir?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Student. Yeah. Student. Sir, I have followed that changes in the attributes are called their modifications. What are attributes? Teacher. That which exists in all the parts of a substance and its modifications is called an attribute. For example, consciousness is the attribute of the soul. It is found in all the minutest parts of the soul, from the lowest existence of living creatures, that is Nigod, to its completely liberated state, moksha. Therefore, soul is all sentience or consciousness, power of knowing or cognition. Student. How many such attributes are there in the soul? Teacher. Soul has infinite attributes like consciousness. Why? Soul alone. Each of all each of all other substances has infinite attributes. Student. So is our soul a storehouse of infinite attributes? Teacher. It is not like a store which is different from the things stored. The soul is all attributes. It is an indivisible mass of attributes. Student, what are those infinite attributes? Teacher, can you count those that are infinite in number? Student, however, let us know some of these. Teacher, attributes are of two kinds, common and specific. Attributes found in all the substances are called common attributes. That those that are not found in all the substances but in individual substances are called specific attributes. Example, the attribute of existence is found in all the substances and so it is a common attribute. Consciousness is found in soul alone and therefore it is a specific attribute of the soul.
Bus, stop.
Continue.
Yeah, stop.
Yeah.
So let's first understand what is attributes. That which exist in all the parts of a substance. Okay. So attributes are those that are found in all the parts of a substance and its modification. Modification means it is found in all the states of that substance. Okay. So that which exists in all the parts of a substance and in all the states of a substance or its modification. These attributes are again self-created and eternal like the substance itself. So there are infinite attributes in a particular substance, and those infinite attributes can be divided into two parts. One is common and one is specific. Common attributes are those that are present in all the 6 kinds of substances. And there are some specific attributes which are not found in all the substances, but in a particular substance, and that attribute is a specific attribute to that substance only. It is not found in any other type of substances. So we have 2 kinds of attributes. Now, these attributes exists in the substance, not as just like we say that there is something in a bag. In a bag, there are, say, innumerable grains of wheat, you know. So the wheat is different and that bag is different, you know. Similarly, here it is not like that. Here all the attributes are, it gets diluted into the substance. So substance is nothing but a mass of attributes and modification. But having said that, the attributes and substance are not two different things. Collection of attributes is substance. It is like that. So these are infinite attributes, and infinite cannot be counted, you know. So we have to just realize it in our knowledge that infinite means huge quantity, which we cannot be counted, and there is no end to it. That's why it is called infinite. So these common attributes are also infinite, and the specific attributes are also infinite. So the definition given here is attributes found in all the substances are called common attributes. Those that are not found in all the substance but in individual substances are called specific attributes. Example, the attribute of existence is found in all the substances. So this is a common attribute, the attribute of existence. It is found in all types of substances. But the attribute of consciousness is found in soul alone, and therefore it is a specific attribute of the soul. Similarly, space, common attributes. I'm not talking about common here, but yeah. So these common attributes, like I was talking about specific attributes. So what would be a specific attribute for uh, matter, you know? So for matter, the specific attribute would be spars, ras, gandh, and varn. So spars is touch, ras is taste, gandh is smell, and varn is the color, okay, that we can see through our eyes. So these are only available in matter substances. It is not available in any other substances. These attributes have different names. They are also called quality, gun. They are called power, shakti. They are called nature, swabhav. They are called duty, dharma. They are called wealth, vaibhav. They are called energy, bal. And then they are called prosperity, which is aishwarya. So these are different names for the attributes. Attributes of themselves are attributeless. That means the attribute does not give rise to any other attributes. Only a substance can have infinite attributes, but attributes does not rise from another attribute. The nature of every attribute remains constant. Attributes are, but the nature of every attribute remains constant, but their modifications change continuously. So there is a continuous evolution of modification. There is extinction of the past modification, and simultaneously it is also permanent. That is the structure of the whole substance, Utpad, Vyay, Draw. Utpad is evolution, Vyay is extinction. So evolution and extinction is continuously happening in the modification, and the substance and the attributes remains constant. So from the perspective of nature, attributes are permanent, and from the perspective of modification, they are dynamic, anitya. More of attributes, where one attribute exists, there exist all the other attributes also. So all these attributes are just like when we make a mixture of sikanji, you have water in it, you have salt in it, you have lemon in it, you have sugar in it. Okay. So when you taste one drop of that mixture, you will have taste of everything at the same time. Okay. Similarly, attributes are in the substance just like that. From wherever you see, all the attributes are present at one place. So where one attributes exist, there exist all the other attributes also simultaneously. This interrelationship between the infinite attributes is known as concomitance, avinabhavi sambandh. So if one exists, the other also exists. That is the relationship. That means where knowledge attributes exist, all the other attributes of perception, bliss also exist. So this was all about attributes. So there are two types of attributes, common attributes and the specific attributes. Now we will see, so there are infinite common attributes, but infinite cannot be explained. So the Acharyas has identified, or they have they have mentioned 6 names of 6 important common attributes. And these are existence, functionality, changeability, knowability, constancy of individuality, and shape retention. So these are the 6 names. We'll be studying one after another, one by one. Okay. So Roshni ji, you can start reading from where we left off. How many common attributes are there from there?
I can continue, sir.
Roshni ji is, I think.
She's not.
Yeah, you can read, Roshni ji. So Himal ji would try.
Sure, sir. How many common attributes are there? There are many, but 6 are important. They are existence, functionality, changeability, knowability, constancy of individuality, and shape retention. That potentiality or quality by virtue of which the substance is never destroyed is called existence attribute. Each substance has this attribute of existence. As such, each substance is self-created. It has not been created by anybody. Nobody can destroy it because it is infinite and eternal. It is on account of this attribute that the nature of a substance is defined as Sat. Sat Dravya Lakshanam. Sat, that is, which exists, is never destroyed. Asat, that which does not exist, is never born. Only modifications appear and disappear. And what is functionality? That potential or quality by virtue of which a substance performs its own specific function is called functionality attribute. It is due to this that a substance is called a substance. No substance in the universe is of any utility for the other. Each one is for its own utility because it possesses the attribute of functionality. Student, sir, what is changeability attitude? That potentiality or quality by virtue of which the modifications of a substance change every moment continuously is called changeability. A thing is called substance on account of this quality. No substance can cause modifications in the other substance because each one has this quality. In the circle of modifications of one substance, there is no need of any other substance. Student, what are the different requisites of these 3 attributes? Existence merely denotes that a thing is quality or functionality, shows that things are not meaningless. Changeability denotes that substances are ever changing. Student.
So let's first understand the first 3 attributes. The first one was existence. Okay. So that potentiality or quality by virtue of which the substance is never destroyed or is never created is called existence attribute. So by knowing this attribute, our all worries goes away. Parents are worried that if they are not there, how their children will grow. But children have their own existence and they have got this attribute of existence. So they exist because of that attribute and not just because of the parents. So each substance has this attribute of existence. As such, each substance is self-created. So people do believe that there is some creator God, but Jainism believes that there is no creator God. Each and every substance exists by themselves just because they have this attribute, common attribute of existence. So once you know that nobody can destroy your identity or nobody can create your identity, you become fearless. No, you don't have any kind of fear. So this attributes of existence makes one a fearless. Mostly the fears are what will happen in this birth, what will happen in the next birth, where I will take. So this attribute says that the soul does not born, does not get born and does not get death. It is only the body that comes in our contact, and the body after a certain age, that body itself, we get detached from that body. So that is the only relation. Soul as a whole remains constant always. It cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed. Our soul is a mass of infinite attributes. So there is no reason to worry. We are all a mass of attributes. It is on account of this attribute that the nature of a substance is called Sat. Sat means which exist. Okay. So because of this existence attributes, the substance exists. Sat Dravya Lakshanam. Sat, that which exists, is never destroyed. Asat, that which does not exist, is never born. Only modifications appear and disappear. So these attributes, by knowing this attribute of existence, we become fearless. This existence is also called Astitva, and because of this existence, we know that there is no creator of God who has created this universe, and similarly, nobody can destroy it also. So the chapter that we read just now, in the beginning, it was said that a bomb has been manufactured, that if a war breaks out today, the whole universe can be destroyed. But now we know that there is an existent attribute in the substance, and because of that, the substance cannot be destroyed and it can never perish. They can only change their modification, and that modification keeps on changing. That's all. Substance as a whole is never destroyed. So this was all about the attribute of existence. So once we know about this nature of this substance, that it exists, all our fears are gone. We realize that our soul, pure soul, remains eternal and our existence cannot be challenged by any power of the universe. Similarly, the other substances also exist on their own accord and are not dependent on us in any way for their existence. So parents believe that they are taking care of the children, but it is not like that. Those children are having a quality of existence in them, and because of that, they exist. So, but just knowing one attribute, we have become fearless. So when we know infinite attributes, just imagine what kind of experience you will have. Now moving on to the next is the functionality. And now what is this functionality? That potentiality or quality by virtue of which a substance performs its own specific function is called functionality attribute. It is due to this that this substance is called a substance. Okay. So this is called Vastutva Gun. Vastutva Gun means functionality attribute. The energy that causes a specific activity, okay, which is basic to the characteristics of the substance is known as functionality attribute. So this because of these attributes, a substance perform its task independently. It is not dependent on any other substance for its own functioning. There is a functionality attribute, and because of this attribute, each substance is performing its own task. It is not dependent on any other. Example, in our body, the eyes only see and the ears only hear. Okay. If the eyes are infected, then under no circumstances the ears will perform the function of the eyes. Same way, every substance can perform its own specific task and not of any other substance. And again, in a particular substance, there are infinite attributes, and each attribute will perform only its own function and not of any other attribute. The attribute of knowledge will only know, okay? And the attribute of conduct, that is different from knowledge, and it will not, the attribute of knowledge will not perform the task of the attribute of conduct. So one would wonder that why people, after getting the right belief, why don't people adapt to monkhood? Why don't they get initiated into monkhood? So they must understand that each attribute is independent. The attribute of belief works independently with the attribute of conduct. So your belief can become right, but your conduct will take time. So the moment you get the right belief, you don't get initiated into monkhood immediately. It takes time because the quality of conduct is different from the quality of belief. Okay, so different qualities functioning their each functioning their own independent task. So by knowing this changeability, by knowing this functionality attribute, we are not dependent on any people to perform our task. We are quite capable of doing our own functions. And similarly, other substances are also independent to perform their own functions, and they are not dependent on us. Moving on to the third, the changeability attribute. It is also called Dravyatva Gun. The potentiality or quality by virtue of which the modification of a substance change every moment continuously is called changeability. A thing is called substance on account of this quality. No substance can cause modification in the another substance because each one has this quality. In the circle of modification of one substance, there is no need of any other substance. So existence merely denotes that a thing exists, it is there. Quality of functionally shows that things are not meaningless. They perform their specific task. And changeability denotes that substances are ever changing. So this changeability exists in the modification, and because of this, the modifications are of one time only, one samay. And so every samay there is a new modification coming up. The old modification gets destroyed, and simultaneously the soul and the attributes remains constant. So the whole structure of substance, attributes and modification, if you see the whole substance, it is changing its modification every moment. While it is changing its modification every moment, the substance remains constant. So the whole structure, if you see, it is existing and simultaneously it is also changing. So changing and constant, both going on simultaneously. The modifications are changing every moment, and the attributes and the substance remains constant in spite of changes in the modification. So this was about the first three quality. The substance every moment is changing. So we believe that we get knowledge through teacher. We believe that the diseases is cured by the doctor. But here these attributes of functionality, the attributes of changeability shows that a particular state is not going to remain permanent. It's going to change every moment. So each state is for a particular moment. The next moment, the change happens. So changeability is a part of every substance because there is a changeability quality in every substance. So these were about the first three qualities. Now moving on to the next three qualities, okay? Knowability and constancy of individuality, and the last one, the shape retention. These are the three other qualities that we are going to study. So now, who will continue? Labdiji, you start reading. What is knowability? From there you have to read. Labdi is not online, or I think she's not able to.
Sir, I'll read.
Yeah, Shefali, you can read.
What is knowability? Knowability is that attribute by virtue of which substances become objects of body's consciousness. Student, many substances are infinitely small. We don't know them, for we do not see them. How do one know one's own soul? We can't see it. Teacher, every substance has the 1 minute. Every substance has the power to be known by some being. It is just another thing that we do not catch it by our senses. This is due to imperfection of our consciousness. Those who have developed complete consciousness know all substances and their modifications. Beings have lesser consciousness, known things according to their own capacity. So it is not possible that a substance may not be an object of consciousness of some being or the other. What is
So
constancy?
let's understand this quality first, knowability. So
Knowability.
you see, because of common quality across all the substances, that each substance has the power to know, to be known, you know. So the power to be known is the knowability of that particular substance. It's a knowability quality of that substance, power to be known. So we don't have to worry about how we can realize ourself, because our self or the soul is known to us every moment. Okay, only we have to just identify. So in our knowledge screen, our soul also gets reflected, and then there are other substances also getting reflected. So because of delusion, what we do is we identify ourselves as other substances. But when we have a correct knowledge of the soul, we identify ourselves as the soul only. And once we do that, we realize ourselves. So because of this quality of knowability, the soul is always reflecting in some knowledge or the other. Not only the soul, but all the substances have this quality. So all the substances are being known by one or the other. So we have now Matigyan and Shrutgyan. Matigyan is sensory knowledge and Shrutgyan is scriptural knowledge. Okay. So because of this, our limited knowledge, we are not aware, or we are not knowing all the products of this universe. But then there are people who have this clairvoyance knowledge and telepathy knowledge. They also know something more than what a scriptural and sensory knowledge people has. Now, there is somebody who is having an omniscient knowledge. He knows about everything in this universe. So the any object, if it does not form a part of our sensory and scriptural knowledge, then it definitely becomes a part of omniscience knowledge. So because of this knowability quality, the each and every substance of this universe is becoming is being known by one kind of knowledge or the other kind of knowledge. Okay, and if it does not seen by any other knowledge, then there is a knowledge of omniscience which sees everything. Okay, so this was all about uh, the knowledge, the attribute of knowability. One more thing, soul also possesses such an ability that it can be known by its own attributes of knowledge. When the consciousness does not engage outward but goes in itself, then you can experience yourself. Okay, so because of this attribute of knowability, we are not worried how we can realize ourselves, because we also have this attribute of knowability, and we are also being known in our own modification. We have to just identify ourselves. So coming on to the next quality, what is constancy? Yeah, you read, Shefali.
Yeah, what is constancy?
Hmm.
The power that keeps a substance in its original form. That is, one substance is not transformed into the other. An attribute does not become another, and the infinite attributes of a substance do not fritter away is called the attribute of constancy. And student, and what is the shape retentivity? Teacher, the attribute by dint of which substances have some shape or the other is called shape retentivity. Student, I have understood common attributes. Please tell me what specific attributes are.
Just stop. Let's
Yeah.
finish the two qualities. So
Yeah.
what is constancy? The power or the potentiality by which a substance maintain its own state of being, that is called the constancy. So there are three things that we consider under this definition, that one substance cannot be transferred, cannot be transformed into any other substance. That is the first. The second is one attribute cannot become any other attribute. And the third one is that the infinite attributes of a substance do not fritter away. Fritter away means it does not get shattered, it does not get separated, it does not get split out from the substance. So the substance holds all the attributes together because it has got a attribute of constancy of individuality. A guru lagutva. Okay, a guru. Guru means large, and a guru means not large, and lagu means small, so not small. So this power uh, does not allow the substance to become smaller or bigger, but keep it as it is forever. So we are not worried. Example, a soul and a body occupy the same space, but none of the attributes of the soul go to the body, or not a single attribute of the body goes into soul. Both remain independent, both maintain their individual identities. Okay, and ensuring that each substance maintains itself forever. So by knowing this constancy of individuality, we can also become fearless. We know that uh, we will always exist as an individual, and we does not get transformed into any other substances. Similarly, other substances have their own independent identity, and they also not get transformed into any other substances. Similarly, of the attributes, one attribute is independent of another attribute, one substance is independent of another substance, and the different infinite attributes of a substance does not get separated or shattered or split out from that substances. Okay. Coming on to the last of the six common attributes that we are discussing is the shape retentivity. That attribute ident of which substance have some shape or the other, is called shape retentivity. Example, shapes of trees, animals are independent due to shape retentivity quality in them. Okay. So this shape retentivity is the Pradeshvatva gun. So when a soul takes birth in an elephant, okay, the different space points expands, but it remains the quantity remains the same. And when that same soul becomes an ant, the space points contracts, but the number of space points remains same. So whatever body acquires, a soul takes the shape of that body. And when the soul gets liberated, the last birth that it has taken, it takes the shape of the last birth that he has taken, and little bit less than the body of the last birth, because there are gaps in nose and other places, so those gaps are covered. So when the soul attains liberation, the shape is same as its last birth, but little less than that. So the body of Adinath was very huge, 500 dhanush long, and the body of Mahavir was only 7 foot tall. So they both are now in Siddhalaya, in the liberated stage, but the shape, both of them are having a large difference in their shapes. So some kind of shape always exists with the substance because of this quality of shape retentivity. So this was all about the common attributes. Now we move on to the specific attributes of that particular substance.
Rajeshri,
Hmm.
um, when we go to temple and we worship idol of Bhagwan,
Hmm.
is the reason why we worship the idol because when they got liberated, when their soul got liberated, the soul took the same shape as a human being, the human being that they were before they got liberated.
So now some of them gets liberated in the standing posture, and some
Yeah.
of them get liberated in the sitting posture. Okay. So,
Yes.
so when we see the pratimas in our temple, either it is in the standing posture, just like Bahubali Bhagwan, or it is
Mhm.
in the sitting posture, like the Tirthankars that we have. Okay. But it
Okay.
retains the same shape as it was his last birth. It's little bit of less than that. As I said, there are gaps in nose and other parts of the body, so that gets contracted, and the final shape that it assumes or it takes up is little bit less than their last birth.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So now we move on to the specific attributes. These specific attributes are very specific to that particular substance only, and it does not exist in any other substances. Okay. So last two paragraphs, just complete. Roshni ji, you can read if you want. I've just,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I
I
have
have
understood.
understood.
Yeah.
Yes. Student, I have understood common attributes. Please tell me what specific attributes there are. Teacher, did I not tell you what specific attributes are? Those attributes that do not exist in all the substances, but only in individual substances, are called specific attributes. For example, consciousness, perception, conduct, and bliss are attributes of the soul, and touch, taste, smell, and color are attributes of the matter. Student, what is the good of knowing substances, attributes, and modifications? Teacher, we are all soul substances. The substances are all masses of attributes. As such, we are also masses of attributes. Our thinking that we are low and mean is washed off by knowing these. Nothing can challenge our existence, and nothing can annihilate us. With the awareness of these attributes, we develop eternal fearlessness. Consciousness is our attribute. Ignorance, attachments, and aversions are not inherent in our nature. They are perverse feelings and are eliminated if we take refuge in the eternal soul.
So the specific attributes, we can see that it exists in that particular individual substance and not in all the substances, just like common attributes. So, for example, consciousness, perception, conduct, and beliefs are attributes of the soul. Touch, taste, smell, and color of the matter. Similarly, medium of motion is the attribute of the dharmastikai. Similarly, medium of rest is the specific attribute of adharmastikai. Similarly, space is the specific attribute of Akash, and times like every moment there is a time substance which is performing its function, and so all the other substances are changing its modification because of this Kal substance. Okay, so each substance have some specific attributes, and that those attributes are there in that particular substance only, and through those attributes only we can identify that particular substance. So this was all about specific attributes. Now coming on to the modification part, we have not read anything about the modification part, but modification is also, to understand modification is also very important. Only one definition that we had, the changes that takes place every moment in the attributes are called modification. In the first page of the chapter, this definition about the modification is given there. You can check it out. The changes that take place every moment in the attributes are called modifications. So this modification keeps on changing without any break, constantly changing. So every moment, each attributes is constantly changing into newer modification. So there are infinite attributes. So there are infinite modification happening every moment. Okay. The specific change that happens in every attribute is called modification. The time period of each modification is only one samay, okay? Which means that in every substance, there is a change happening every moment or every samay, which proves that continuous change is the intrinsic nature of every single substance. So every single substance is continuously changing while it is remaining constant also. So constancy cum changeability is the nature of every substance. So in every substance, the substance itself is remaining constant and its modification is changing every moment. We wish that we remain young forever, but that is not going to be possible because every moment the body is changing. Our age is also increasing every moment and our body is changing according to its age. And it is not in our control to stop this change. So, if substance and their attributes are eternal truth, the modification is also the truth in that moment, which cannot be changed. So once we know that each and every modification are sequence bound, then if we accept that logic, then we also become fearless, nirbhar. There is nothing on our head because the modification is changing on its own every moment. And the sequence is also fixed. So we cannot change the sequence in which it will appear. Okay. The omniscience in his knowledge knows everything of each and every substance in the universe. And it also knows its modification of past, present, and future. So by knowing the nature of modification of every substance, we can also become fearless. The new modification that is evolving in every substance, every moment, is not the same as the previous one. Okay. It may be similar, but it is not the same. Every moment there is a new modification coming. As we see in a seashore, the waves appears and then it goes back to the sea itself. Similarly, the modification appears from the substance itself and it again recedes in that substance itself. Just like the waves recede in the ocean itself, similarly the modification rises from the substance itself, and after doing its function, it again subsides in that particular substance itself. There are different names for modification. It is also called paryay, dasha. Dasha is form, avastha is state, then karya is work, change is parinaman, and result is parinam. Then we have manifestation, transformation, mode, etc. So these are all synonymous words for a particular modification. When a mango is raw, its color attribute manifest in green color, whereas taste attributes manifestation is sour. Every moment there is a change, evolution of new modification and an extinction of the old one. This change is happening continuously, but we may not always notice the change happening in a moment. We observe only when infinite such modification have changed. So our knowledge cannot capture the momentary development in each modification, in each substance. Okay. What we can capture is a cluster of modification happening. Okay. So the color of that mango, it changes from green to yellow, but it is happening in a continuous flow of modification, which we cannot capture in our limited knowledge of, we have sensory knowledge and the scriptural knowledge, okay? But it is anyway happening. The changes are happening every moment. So there are certain few things that I would say about modification more, and then we come to the last question on what are the benefit of knowing this nature of substance, attributes, and modification. 1 minute. So one thing is certain, that each modification does not form part of our knowledge. Okay, it is so subtle, because the speed at which the modification moves, one modification, then second modification, then third modification, the flow continues, and the speed of that flow is such that we cannot capture a modification of a particular moment. Okay. So it is all known to the omniscient. That knowledge is capable of knowing development of every moment. But in our limited knowledge, scriptural knowledge, and the sensory knowledge that we have, we cannot track its momentary development. So when we cannot track the momentary development, how we can change anything in the modification? So this proves that we cannot change anything in the modification. We have to accept whatever is whatever is happening in the modification. It all gets reflected in our knowledge attribute, and that's how we know about it. So these modifications are sequence bound. It is one at a time. It is, I think, it is also happening independently. Okay. So one at a time, sequence bound, and it is independent of one another. So 1 moment ago, you may have delusion, and the next moment the delusion goes away, because each modification is independent. So the amount of time that is there in this universe, the total number of time substance that we have in this universe, same number of modifications are there of each substance. So in one moment, one modification of substance is aligned. So we cannot change that sequence, because every space point is having one modification aligned to it, and the sequence is also prefixed. So we cannot change that sequence. We have to just accept it. And the moment we accept this system of sequence bound modification, we become absolutely fearless. We become we realize that there is no responsibility on ourselves to do any particular task or work. It is all happening automatically at the right time, at the right moment, independently of one another. So each substance is independent of another substance, each attribute is independent of another attribute, and each modification is independent of another modification. When we know the independent nature of this substance, attributes, and modification, we are absolutely relaxed. We feel that there is nothing on our head to perform, Each and every substance is performing, it's doing its own task independently. There is no way that a substance can help another substance to perform its task. Each is doing it independently. And when we know about this independence, all our wrong belief that we can do changes in any other object, that also goes away. Another thing is that modification does not come out of another modification. Each modification is independent. Each modification comes out of the substance itself, and after doing its function, it again goes back to that substance. Then there is a momentary eligibility of that particular modification. Okay, tat samay ki yogyata. Each modification has its momentary eligibility, and the work done in each particular substance is there their eligibility of the moment. And this eligibility of 3 times past, present, and future is prefixed. So when it is already prefixed, we cannot change it. Then our the belief that we can change other things, the belief that we are the doer of other things, that all goes away. And when our life becomes very peaceful, relaxed, and happy. Whatever anxieties we have, whatever headaches we have, is just because that we believe ourselves to be the doer of the other substances. So once that belief goes away, we feel absolutely peaceful and relaxed. So all the past modification has already happened. We cannot change it. The present for modification does not form part of our knowledge, so we cannot change it. And the future modifications have not only been manifested, so we cannot change that also. So we are completely free from any doership of any kind of modification of past, present, and future. So our focus moves from the modification towards the substance, and then when the focus moves on to the substance, we get this feeling of self-realization. So self-realization happens, and the journey to liberation starts from that moment. So a particular thing will happen on a particular time. Until that time, that thing will not happen. So we should not worry about any of the modification of any other substance. So everything happens at the right time, at the right place, at the right moment. Okay. Just acceptance of this relieves ourselves of any responsibility of doership. So it's a great effort to accept this kind of system of the modifications. And once you accept this system of modifications, once you realize this, once you have the knowledge of this, then you become fearless, and you are relaxed and peace. You experience peace and calmness, because the turbulence was just because you believe yourself to be a doer of all the modifications. Now, when you know that all the modifications are happening on its own independently, they have an inbuilt mechanism in them through which they are performing their task every moment. It is not dependent on the substance. It is not dependent on the attributes. It is not dependent on any external instrumental cause. Okay. So when you realize this, you become relaxed. So now coming on to the last question. 1 minute. What is the good of knowing substance, attributes, and modification? So that was the last question. We are all soul substances. The substances are all masses of attributes. As such, we are also masses of attributes. Our thinking that we are low and mean is washed off by knowing this. So we as a soul is also mass of attributes. And by knowing this, that we have infinite attributes, we have this feeling that we are low and mean goes away. And we are really proud of our potential. one quality of us, knowledge quality, that knowledge quality knows everything. It has the potential to know everything of this universe in one moment. So if one attribute has this much of function, imagine we have infinite attributes and each attribute is every moment performing its task independently without any help from any other attributes or modifications or substance. So each substance, attributes and modification are independently performing its own task. Nothing can challenge our existence and none can annihilate us. Okay. So there is no force that can destroy us. There is no force that can evolve us. With the awareness of these attributes, we developed eternal fearlessness. Consciousness or knowledge is our attribute. Ignorance, attachments, and aversions are not inherent in our nature. Okay. Just because we take refuge in outer external substances, this keeps on manifesting because of ignorance, attachments, and aversions. They are not inherent in our nature. They are manifesting just because we are taking refuge in external substance. When we stop taking refuge in external substance and when we take shelter in our own substance, own soul, then these feelings of attachment and aversions and ignorance goes away. They are perverse feelings and are eliminated if we take refuge in the eternal soul. So by knowing the nature of substance, attributes, and modification, if we take refuge in our soul, okay, then all our miseries goes away and we become happy. So this is the benefit of knowing the nature of substance, attributes, and modifications. Same thing can be a substance, same thing can be an attribute, and same thing can be a modification. Example, if you are looking at a necklace made of gold, okay? So if you look at it from a modification point of view, you can see the necklace. But same thing if you see from the substance viewpoint, then it is a gold. Okay. So just by changing the viewpoint, you can say that the same thing is a substance, attribute, or modification. It depends on from what viewpoint you are looking at. If you're looking at a substance point of view, you will see that it's a substance. If you're looking at a modification of point of view, you will see that it's a chain of gold, And if you look at the quality point of view, you will realize that this gold has its own attributes of yellowness. It has got weight. It has got weight. So these are different attributes of that gold substance. So one question that this substance, attributes, and modification, are they exist in the same substance or they exist in different substance? So the nature of each is different, but they are all part of one particular substance. Okay. It may not happen that substance is here and modification is there. It may not happen. Where the modification exists, there only the substance and the attributes exist. Where there is a necklace, the gold is there in itself only. Gold is not something different from the necklace. So we should understand this modification, attributes, and substance are different from its characteristics if we know, they have different characteristics, but from the point of view of existence, if you see, they exist at one place only. They are not existing differently. Okay. So the difference will always remain because of the characteristic of each, which is different from one another. Substance is not attributes and attributes is not modification. Each have its own independent identity. But when we look at it from the whole substance point of view, it is all one substance. They are not different from one another. Substance is a mass of attributes and modification only, and modification and attributes are a part of substance only. So these three all coexist simultaneously, and in the right, I would say at the right space only. Okay. So the space is same for all the three, but the nature of each differs. That is the final thing that we wanted to know about this nature of substance, attributes, and modifications. Now, if you have any questions, I can take up. Otherwise, our chapter is over.
Rajeshji,
Mhm.
you told us a few translation words for the 6 common attributes. So I got a few, but I think I'm missing some. If you could repeat, existence
Yeah.
is astitva, and then
And
functionality,
is vastutva,
vastutva. Okay.
changeability
And
is
then,
dravyatva,
okay,
knowability is prameta,
okay,
constancy of individuality is agurulagutva,
mhm,
and shape retention is pradeshatva.
okay, got it. Thank you.
Now, one question is still remaining, that why this sequence in this form? You know, there are infinite attributes, common attributes. Why they have mentioned 6? Because infinite cannot become a part of our speech, because it is infinite. There is no end to it. So from Pratman Yog, we know that in the heavenly state of Sarvat Siddhi, there are enlightened souls there, and they keep on discussing about the infinite qualities of the soul, and they have a long age of 33 sagar, such a long age, and they keep on discussing on each quality of the soul, and their age comes to an end. The discussion does not stop, it keeps going on. So there are infinite qualities, and infinite cannot be said through speech or words. So the acharyas have given us explanation about 6 qualities, and the sequence also has its significance, and that is what we are going to discuss, the last one. So unless and until we know the existence of any substance, how do we explore on that substance? Okay. So existence is the first quality. If whether something exists or not, then we can do further discussion on that. So existence quality is in the first place. Now the second one is functionality. So we have to see that the substance that exists, it has got some functional value or not. If it does not have any functional value, then we are not interested in knowing that substance. So the functionality is the second sequence in the quality of the 6 qualities. Okay. The third one is changeability. So we know that it exists, we know that it is functioning, but if it is not changing, then what is the use? So the third is the changeability. So through changeability quality, we know that the substance keeps on changing every moment. It is not constant permanently, but it changes every moment. So that through the changeability, we know about this. Now, there is existence, there is functionality, there is changeability, but we should also know it. So then the fourth in the sequence comes the attribute of knowability. Okay. So each substance that exists in this universe has this attribute of knowability, and because of that, it forms a part of knowledge, of some kind of knowledge or the other. And if it does not form a part of any kind of knowledge, then omniscience, of course, knows everything. Yeah. What is the question? Someone has raised.
Sir, this is Himali here.
Uh,
Sir, when you talk of changeability,
hmm.
so why and how does changeability happen? Like, for instance, when there is no interaction with the other with the other attribute, or everything is constant.
So
How is
the
it
whole
that
structure,
this kind of
has,
changeability happens? And so, can you help me with an example? I
yeah.
didn't quite understand.
So the same necklace was made from the gold. Okay. Now, if you want to change the modification of that gold, then you melt that gold and you can make a bangle out of it, Same gold, same material, and the modification has changed. Okay. Earlier it was necklace, now it is bangle. You can again change it to another kind of thing, whatever you want to feel like. So the modification keeps on changing, but the gold remains constant. Okay. So there is an evolution every moment. There is an extinction every moment in the modification happening across all substances. But the substance remains constant in between this existence. Okay. Now a kid who is a 5-year-old, he becomes a 10-year-old. So it is the same kid. Okay. So from the perspective of that human being, he is constant. But what he was 5 years, at the age of 5 years, is not the same as 10 years. Is growing every moment. There are changes happening in every moment. So there is a changes every moment happening in the substance, and the substance is remaining constant also. Okay. So the changes that is happening is because of the modification, and the constancy is just because the substance and the attributes remains always constant.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? So we covered 4 qualities: existence, functionality, changeability, knowability. Now we move on to the 5th quality, that is constancy of individuality. So we know that something already exists. We know that it is functioning independently. We know that it is changing every moment. We know that it forms a part of our knowledge, but still we may assume that it mixes up with another substance. Each attribute is helping another attribute. So there is constancy of individuality. It rules out all these things. It says that one substance remains independent to another substance. One attribute remains independent of another attribute, and all the attributes of a substance does not get separated from that particular substance. Okay. So constancy of individuality helps us in knowing about all this. And the last one is shape retention. So everything must have a shape. If the shape is not there, then what is the use of in knowing that substance? So shape retention is again a common attribute across all substance, and all substance have their individual shape. Okay. So this way, 6 common attributes has been explained, and similarly, there are infinite attributes in each substance. Okay. But infinite cannot be explained, so acharyas have explained us 6 qualities, and through that sample, we can assume that each substance is a mass of infinite attributes and infinite modification. Okay. So we as a soul are also a substance, and we have infinite attributes in ourselves. So we should always feel proud of ourselves and never get depressed on anything, because the modification will always change, and the modification does not last beyond a moment. So there is nothing to worry what is happening in the modification level. What remains constant is our substance, and we are that particular substance. So we as a substance are constant, and there is constant flow of modification, evolution and extinction happening every moment in the modification, and the whole structure is a combination of this substance, attributes and modification. So this was all about this chapter, and if you have any questions, I will take up. Otherwise, we will meet on February, I think 2nd or 3rd is Saturday. So we will meet on that particular day. I'll just see the calendar.
So, sir, for the next couple of weeks, there'll be no class. Is it Pratishta?
Yeah, because of Songad Pratishtha, I'll be going to Songad. So the next
Mhm.
Saturday is February 3rd. Okay. So our next
Okay.
class will be on February 3rd. Urja, you just share it in the group that our next class will be on the 3rd of February.
Awesome.
We have completed Balbodh part 1, 2, 3. So you can revise in between Balbodh part 1, 2, 3. If you have any questions, you can just WhatsApp me individually, and I'll be pleased to answer those questions. And our actual syllabus will start from Vitrag Vigyan 1. And if any one of you have not ordered for books, you can order for books just now itself. So within another week, you will receive the books. So when we start Vitrag Vigyan 1, you have books with yourself. Okay. So our actual syllabus will start from 3rd Feb with Vitrag Vigyan 1. Then we will cover Vitrag Vigyan 2 and then Vitrag Vigyan 3. These 3 will form the part of first semester, and you will have exams from these 3 papers only: paper 1, paper 2 and paper 3. Of course, we have something as self-reading also, small books like I think it is violence. No, not violence. Some other books are there.
Shakahar.
Which one?
I was reading Shakahar.
Sakahara. Okay. Then what else we have? I think one more we have in the first semester. I'll just
There
see
are a
this.
few. I received a few by Barilji.
Okay. So you have received the books, physical books, right?
Yes, I have.
Okay. It's all in English?
No, some are Hindi. I can read Hindi, I just cannot write it.
Okay. So I'll just check the syllabus. So all of you order these books. Okay. If anyone is not ordered so far, just order the books. So you receive the books by the time we start our actual syllabus. 1 minute. I'll just share the syllabus. Yeah. No. 1 minute. So each paper is of 100 marks. So 50 marks is objective, and then 50 marks is the other assignments that we will do. One is the oral assignment of GM Gandhar Mulyankan. And then there is another oral assignment called Viva. Then we have a third oral assignment called LCPA, Life Changing Practical Application. And these three are oral assignments. And then we have concept clarity as written assignments, concept clarity paper 1, concept clarity paper 2, and concept clarity paper 3. So in the first syllabus, we have first semester, we have Vitrag Vigyan 1 and Namokar Mantra. Okay. Namokar Mantra ek Anushilan. This is a self-study book. There are small stories in that. A very interesting one. You can read in the vacation that you have. Then in Vitrag Vigyan 2, we have Sakar along with that. And then in Vitrag Vigyan 3, we don't have anything. It's a separate paper. So Sakar and Namokar Mantra, these are two books, small books that is for self-reading. So you use this vacation to read those very interesting story and inspiring stories in Namokar Mantra. Also, you will realize the importance of Namokar Mantra that we have already covered in our Balbodh. And Sakar also, you must understand what is to be eaten and what is not to be eaten. And similarly, you can just avoid those sinful activity. Okay. So this is all that I have to say on this chapter. If you have any questions, I can take up. Otherwise, we'll close.
Sir, I was getting a little bit confused. So we said that for substances are not dependent on each other.
Right.
And then attributes are also not dependent on each other, right?
Right.
Okay, because we mentioned something about interdependence. So if we put salt and sugar both in a glass of water, we can taste both of them. But that's not interdependence, right?
No. The quality of the sweetness, that is a quality of sugar. Okay. So that sugar is sweet just because of this quality of sweetness. And this quality is in the sense that this quality is not the substance itself. It is one of the qualities of that substance. So in that from that perspective, there is a difference between a quality and a substance. But having said that, the substance is nothing but mass of qualities. Okay. So the substance does not exist independently of the quality, but these are all one thing put together.
Okay. Kind of like bundi ka laddu. Okay, I got it. Now yes, my confusion is clear.
So the भावगत भेद तो है, जो द्रव्य है वो गुण नहीं है, गुण है वो पर्याय नहीं है, but सत्तागत भेद नहीं है. They exist in one particular substance. सत्तागत भेद नहीं है, भावगत भेद है.
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
ठीक है. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है. उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना 7 बार है. उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना 7 बार है. 9 बार नौकार मंत्र गिनेंगे. जय जिनेंद्र.